We are delighted to be hosting you all. We're grateful that you all chose to spend the evening with us. We're a firm that is designed to make sure that we reach out to entrepreneurs. And we run a program called Total Access. There's many components of it. One of the things that we do is we make sure that we provide forums to the startup community for free. We also do a series of panels like the one we're doing tonight. We like to work with others in the startup community. And our partner David Concannon, who I'll introduce in a moment, did a workshop yesterday at SVB on founder protection.
What we've got for you tonight, I think, is actually very special, much more exciting, impactful, and relevant to everybody in this room, whether you're an investor, an entrepreneur, a data scientist, or somebody aspiring to start your own company. What we're going to have are 5 of these awesome practitioners get up and actually demo something. So it's going to be quick, it's going to be hard-hitting, it's going to be fast-moving. 5 presentations, 5 minutes each. Then at the end, what I'm going to do is get these people up here, and our scientist in residence, Drew Conway, and I are basically going to ask very specific questions of each of them. There'll be very little redirect, so we keep the thing going. And then we'll open it up to audience questions at the end. So what is DataSift? We take 1.5 billion data items a day from various social media bios, Twitter, Facebook, forums, blogs, click data, all kinds of things. This is actually a feed of everyone who's talking about health. So what you can see is we're not looking for keywords, we're actually analyzing all 1.5 billion items. So each item, in real time, less than 100 milliseconds, is analyzed for topic, entities, language, trend analysis, demographic data, all of it simultaneously. And we have a platform on top of that that allows you then to choose which bits of data. Our idea is to go from 1.5 billion down to 10 items, 1,000 items, whatever is needed for that customer. So we have a programming language that we actually built called CSDL. It stands for Curated Stream Definition Language. The reason we built it was because SQL sucks at unstructured data. Don't like anyone trying to teach you, it does. It doesn't have any of the operators required to deal with text. So we basically built a language that was very specific to taking unstructured data. So people quote somewhere between 70 and 90% of the world's enterprise data is unstructured. So we thought it'd be a good idea that someone actually built a cloud platform to take that data and process it. We have a demographic product, so we have 250 million profiles on Twitter where we know age, gender, location, your likes and interests, a whole range of other things. We have hundreds of massive enterprise companies using us. Thousands of people sign up every week to build products actually on top of DataSift. We've had companies who have gone from literally no product, decided had an idea, seen that the platform allows them to build things, raised money, and then exited in the space of the last year. So it's an incredible, people have built products, and you can build a Radiant 6 in about 4 months on top of our platform. So if you feel like competing with them, away you go. Here you go. So next up, we have the good fortune of having Matt Window from Facebook. He's a PM in the identity group in New York, and previously was a biz dev, and we're happy to welcome Matt back to New York after a 7-year hiatus in San Francisco. So Matt, let's do it.
What I just showed you was a lot of sort of offline process, interesting stuff. Some of them are funny, some of them are interesting, a lot of them inform what we do. But at Facebook, of course, what we deal with most is more real-time issues that we have with data. There are 3 characteristics of the data that we work with. First is scale. We have billions of users, hundreds of billions of friendships, trillions of pieces of connection. So you can imagine our systems are hit pretty hard, whether it's Hadoop or Hive, just the sheer volume of stuff that we have to deal with in terms of what's uploaded, newsfeed stories, we have billions of real-time messages, every couple minutes basically. We have massive scale issues that we have to deal with. Second thing, structure. We're actually very fortunate at Facebook that a lot of our data has structure to it, and that allows you to do a lot of interesting things. You can do things like graph-based learning and other things you just can't do if you don't have structured data. So those are some of the examples of what we've done with the Graph Search. Graph Search has rolled out to only a small amount of the world. It's sort of an opt-in program now. One of the reasons it's opt-in is simply because it's so hard to make performant that we have to roll these things out.
First of all, thanks for having me. My name is Brian Ock. As was introduced, I am a data scientist at Bitly in New York. Bitly is a URL shortener and analytics site. So how do we quantify big data? So roughly once a day, we get 160 million clicks on Bitly-based links. Every day, we get about 25 million new links. And we actually power 30,000 custom servers now, so we're doing pretty good. Those include things like the New York Times, the Washington Post, and my own BL.me, which is the most important. All this data came to us when I first started there. We built a search engine. So we had this idea, Google has to go out and crawl websites to get documents, but people brought the documents to us, which is an interesting shift, and they also brought the most recent documents. So we built a service called Real-Time, and I got interested in this idea of what constitutes a big news day. Every day the New York Times is going to publish a paper. It's going to be roughly the same size, but are there big news days, are there slow news days, and what do they look like? And luckily for me today, it was a big news day. So earlier this week, the White House is always very popular on the internet, and we can see earlier in the week, there was an interesting article published about in the 1950s, the White House was gutted. The White House was totally gutted and totally renovated, and there was these amazing archive photos put out. But as you can see, something else happened this morning. What happened this morning was Bob Woodward. Bob Woodward came out a couple days ago and made a comment that the White House was trying to suppress him, that he had been told not to speak. We built this to satisfy a curiosity. We were just trying to understand what this real-time information looks like. Slowly, it's been used by consumers because we do no ranking of the news. It's whatever is popular at the time. A lot of content publishers and content creators have gotten really excited about it because we can basically show them what the news cycle is and how it's progressing. And we've also got some feedback from a variety of financial institutions that want to try this, use this data to tie it to various stock market movements and so forth. So we're pretty happy with it. I still want to look at this idea of what a slow news day, what a fast news day looks like, and hopefully be able to quantify that. So that's what I'm using this product for right now.
Next big soundtrack's the online music activity of every artist in the world. We sell a centralized dashboard back to the music industry that they and the artists can use to make decisions that drive them. This is broad consumption trends. So you see the blue line is Spotify, and that spikes in the US during the week, the work week, and on the weekends, iTunes sales are spiking. So you can use that, or our clients are using that of when they should push advertising on Spotify and other locations.
I'm Alex Boone. So we think about the newsroom. So funny that we follow Next Big Sound. Our vision is to become the Bloomberg terminal of the newsroom. We help editors from around the world figure out answers to 3 questions. Where should I promote my content? What content should I promote? And when to promote those content? And yes, we do process 13 billion pages a month. At peak, we had about 10,000 requests per second. Our audience are editors that typically are not data analysts. They are not people who, like us, love graphs and be able to cut and dice the data, at least differently. So we actually try, as much as we can, hide the data as much as we possible. One of the tools that we have is a headline testing tool, which is a A/B testing that you can try out. The editor might have 2 different headlines that they want to try out, and they can input that in, and it's A/B testing in real time. That within minutes they can figure out which headline is better than the other one, and then immediately we'll serve the headline for them. Unlike any other headline testing or A/B testing tools you see, we never show any confidence interval, actually almost any statistics at all, except telling you that that's the winner, you should go with it. And if you want to try another one, you can try another one to make it super simple to use. What about your particular audience? Everybody have a little bit different. We looked at benchmarks of the initial half-life that during the week, the half-life of a tweet is 6 seconds. But on the weekends, it goes to 12, maybe 18 seconds. So those time changes and our benchmark changed with it. So at least that's one way how we think about data. For us, it's almost all about hiding the data and creating the action. Thank you.
Six-person team. We hired someone to be an intelligence architect, but very quickly the customer demands thoroughly overwhelmed that person in the R&D capacity, and they got roped in as a general engineer. We then had a black ops team that would meet after hours of whoever wanted to join, and we would bring in random people and start exploring what are even the biggest questions we could be answering, and how do we wrestle with this. And we finally, at employee 14, 15, 16, 17, had the kind of bandwidth and resources to hire full-time data scientists, again facing the same, what are the biggest problems we can be solving for our clients, for our customers, what are the easiest low-hanging fruit we can tackle. But again, that was a separate data science team, and ultimately where we've arrived, and I think the best place we've been so far is embedding data science as part of different product teams and tied in with front-end engineering, back-end engineering, and the whole stack, talking to customers, really integrating with the full rest of the team.
To investing in marketing and helping to better communicate and manifest the data science that you've already got in the front-end product. How do you see that balance playing out over the next year and a half?
Certainly being in a more niche market, we certainly spend more time on sales than in marketing, but generally we do want it to be very product focused and data focused. A lot of the investment I think we have recently invested in more about in just scaling the infrastructure itself. And I think in the next 12 months or so, it's definitely more about building out additional products based on what customer feedback and hypothesis that we have on our own. What would our customer want to be? How would we fulfill this vision of being the Bloomberg terminal of the newsroom? What are the tools that the editor would need to help them make predictions and make recommendations on where should I promote the content and what channel should I be applying those efforts on?
We started the company in Chicago and got into Techstars and went through the program in Boulder 2009. Grew to 10 people in Boulder, 6 or 7 of which we had to move in from out of state. And Boulder is a phenomenal community. It was great for us starting out, but to grow, adding 10 people, we're now 22 people. And if we wanted to grow at the caliber of employees, we couldn't find people fast enough without bumping into all the other friends and companies in Boulder. So New York's been great for us. We thankfully have avoided recruiters and been able to grow the team quickly and efficiently and very high caliber.
What are the interesting problems that you would like to try to solve? You can answer that sort of specifically at Bitly. You know, if Bitly was your sandbox, what would be an interesting problem that you think would flow nicely into a product?
Just trying to figure out understanding of content recommendation. I still think recommendation is one of the most interesting problems that everybody's trying very hard to do very well, and nobody has done it to a satisfactory level. And it's also one of the problems that when I look in the past, it seems that every 3 or 4 months a company comes out that does it really well. They get a large amount of attention, and then the results slowly decline, which intuitively you would think if more people use it, the results will get better. But so far my experience has been, Flipboard came out, it got a lot of press, and then the results kind of fall off. So why is that? Is it a problem of when you try to tailor it too quickly to a user, that you're giving them too much of exactly what they want? How do you strike a balance of recommending good content to a user, but not just basically saying, oh, you like sports, I'm going to give you all sports all the time, nothing other than sports? And how do you find a balance of recommending content, possibly offending someone, possibly trying to get someone out of their comfort zone? How do you experiment in such a way that I'm going to recommend something for you that you might not like, but if you do like it, I learned a lot more information about you, and making it that experimental process.